All right, we're on air.
All right, welcome everyone to the first day of the Ubuntu Online Summit. This week we're running the regular Ubuntu Community Team Q&A as part of the summit itself. That's why we've. Oh, let me just a second. I've got echo.
Time to play Find the Tab. It's always a fun game.
All right, yeah, especially if you've got two of them open and you're hearing it twice in stereo. Sorry about that. All right, so as I was saying, we're live as part of the Ubuntu Community Team Q&A in the Ubuntu Community, in the Ubuntu Online Summit this week on the community track. I'm David Planella. I manage the Ubuntu Community Team at Canonical, which is composed by an awesome team of community managers, such as Michael Holtz, who's joining me today on this Q&A.
Hey, everyone.
The way the Q&A works is essentially it's an open question and answer session. So if you're joining through the summit or if you're joining through ubuntuonair.com, you'll see that there's a chat widget where you can just log in for free. You don't need any particular credentials, and then you can ask your questions in there. During the hour, we'll be watching the IRC channel for your questions, and we'll be taking them first come, first serve, essentially. Feel free to ask any questions about Ubuntu, open source, or anything in general. We're pretty open to the type of questions that we get, provided that we have the knowledge to answer them, and that they are not support questions. For support questions, we generally direct folks to our support channels, such as Ask Ubuntu, the forums, or mailing lists. Also, remember, if you have a question, to prefix it with the word "question" in all capital letters, so that we can pick it up more easily, and then we'll go through them. I think that's pretty much it in terms of logistics. Mike, have I forgotten anything?
No. Do we want to start off with any announcements?
All right. There's quite a lot going on this week, actually, as part of UES. So it's difficult.
We have this online summit happening that you might have heard of.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, only to say that if you haven't watched the Mark Shuttleworth keynote a few hours ago, you can go to summit.ubuntu.com, navigate through the sessions for today, and you'll see a recorded feed of the video. Same as with any other sessions happening as part of the summit. The online summit is essentially 3 days of live and free content all around Ubuntu. It's about discussing, about demoing, about learning. I'll say all around Ubuntu. We've got different tracks. We've got lots of different content to choose from and to take part in. Just remember to go to summit.ubuntu.com and register there as well. Again, registration is free. You can use your regular Ubuntu account, no extra steps needed, and then that helps as well, seeing how much participation there is in the summit, how much participation there is in particular sessions, and also to which in turn helps us to decide which type of content we want for the next summits. A reminder, perhaps, tomorrow we've got another Q&A, which is very special. We've got Jane Silver, Canonical CEO, who'll be talking to the community and answering the questions on the same the same style as this particular Q&A. You should feel free to ask anything related to Ubuntu or open source, or anything that you think Jane can answer. Other than that, there's quite a lot of exciting content going on. Be sure to check the show and tell track. We've got quite a lot of demos there and Q&As from different teams. I hear that the Unity 8 and Convergence Q&A has been quite popular today, so be sure to go back to the schedule and find the video feed.
Yeah, Michael Zanetti had a nice setup that he was showing off for us, so you get to see some of it in action.
Excellent.
And I know, David, you mentioned this at the intro, but I just wanted to reiterate that all of these sessions are being recorded. So you can go back to summit.ubuntu.com at any time and go find a session that you missed, and you can rewatch its video.
All right. Okay. So the other thing I should mention as well, we've got generally for each one of the sessions at the Online Summit, we've got an Etherpad instance which you can use to help take notes or actions. For this particular Q&A, on Q&As we don't generally take actions unless we notice there's something that needs work on. But feel free to ask to put the questions and answers in there if you would like to track that. Other than that, I actually had a look at the Etherpad and I noticed that there was actually a message which I should probably share. So Victor Thompson from the Core Apps team, he's one of the Core App developers, volunteer community developers who have created the music app and most recently also the reboot of the weather app. And he was saying we should take an action to give Mark Shuttleworth a hack for such an open and welcoming keynote. So we'll forward the action, Victor. Mark is at a sprint this week in Prague, so we'll get the Canonical to essentially bring that hack. All right, then let's have a look at the IRC. I see there's some questions coming up.
The first one is from Ridgewing, who's actually asking if we could log into the Etherpad so that we can take action items, which we have already done now. So that is done. The next one is from Dragos. He's asking a support question. He says, when he deletes the .trash_1000 folder from USB, Nautilus freezes. I've not heard of this before, but it is definitely a bug. You should file that in Launchpad, and then it will probably be sent upstream to the GNOME bug tracker if it's not specific to Ubuntu. Do we still have a report a bug in the menus? Are we still injecting that?
I don't think so. I think we removed it at some point.
Yeah, I think with the changes that GNOME was making, we had to take those all out. All right, I'm going to go find the bug link for Nautilus. If you can take the next question while I do that.
All right, so we've got Global Figure who's asking, any updates on the Telegram app for Ubuntu phones? Well, yes, we have. The Telegram developers have been working frantically in the last few weeks to get version 2 of Telegram to the phones. I actually was pinging them insistently because one of the Telegram is one of the apps that I use most on my Ubuntu phone, and I got them to send me a preview for reporting how it works of the Telegram version 2, and I know that some other community folks have already gotten access to the tech preview. I can report that it works really well. It feels snappier, no pun intended, than the previous Telegram app. It supports stickers, which is one feature that essentially everyone was asking for.
Well, hang on. It will display stickers. It doesn't yet have the ability to let you post them.
Okay.
But it's in the works.
That's right. Yeah.
It's progress anyway.
Exactly. So support is read-only right now, but yeah, it makes your Telegram experience much better. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it in terms of Telegram. I know, Mike, you've been testing Telegram version 2. What's your
experience? And it's been good. It's like you said, it's a lot snappier. It doesn't hang as much as the old one did, so that's really good. Michael Carnegie has said that it will be in the store soon. I don't know what's currently waiting to be fixed before he does that, but I'm hoping this week or next. That'll be in the store and everybody can update. Oh, I know what they're waiting on. They're working on the transition from version 1 to version 2 to make sure it doesn't break anybody's phone if they're already using it. So as soon as they get that done, that's going to be in the store and you can upgrade.
Okay. Freestyle is asking, is there a recommended hardware I should get to be able to plug in a screen mouse and a keyboard to my Nexus 4 to test conversions features? Yes, it is. There is, but I mean, it's pretty generic to be honest. I mean, in very generic terms, you need a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse. You need an HDMI adapter to Slim port. And
you need to make sure you get a slim port one like this too, not MHL, because the Nexus 4 does not support MHL.
All right, good point. And yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty much it. Obviously, you need to monitor. But I mean, in terms of recommendations, I know that Alan Pope on one of the community roundtables was recommending Logitech keyboard. I've got actually got a Microsoft Bluetooth keyboard and an Apple Pad with an Ubuntu phone, so nothing could go wrong, and it didn't. So that worked pretty well. So I'd say anything, any Bluetooth keyboard and mouse that's actually supported by the Ubuntu phone, and then with the adapter, which I put what Mike just mentioned about not getting an HTML1. Next question is from WXL. Do we still need nominations for positions on the community council or the local council? Mike, I think I'd like to take that one.
The community council, the call for nominations is closed, and we're going to be posting the poll so that Ubuntu members can vote on the new council, hopefully sometime this week. The community council still is looking for nominations. So if you know of anybody who is involved in their local community that you think would be a good person to help guide and direct the global set of local communities, please do nominate them. And if you think you're that kind of person, please nominate yourself. I'm not sure when we close on that, but I think it's sometime soon, so don't wait around. Did we answer the one about tiling window managers?
Can't recall, and I can't recall saying it. So
Blue Dragon 77 is asking, are there any tiling window manager fans in Canonical? And if yes, how do I contact them? I don't personally know anybody using one, but it certainly wouldn't surprise me if there are. I would try #ubuntu-desktop. That would probably be the most likely place to find them.
Yeah, or perhaps even also #ubuntu-unity. The Mir guys, Unity guys hanging there and there. Perhaps there are some other window manager fans in there. All right, so Global Figal is asking, how are you all doing? I'm guessing this is also question extended to everyone on IRC. I myself personally am doing very well. I'm really excited about the Ubuntu Online Summit. I'm really excited as well about the plans we're making for the Ubuntu Summit, an in-person summit in Pasadena next January, and working with the team of community folks who are leading the organization. So everything's good.
Yeah, same. Every UOS is kind of a stressful time because there's a lot that we have to organize, both in terms of setting up the summit, but also recruiting people to give sessions and making sure that they have all the information they need to do that. So we're all a bit tired by now, and we'll be even more so by the end of all of this. But we're doing good. We haven't had any problems so far, so that's always a plus. All right, the next one is from Dragos. Yes, is there any desktop widgets for Unity? Not entirely sure what you mean for this. Are you talking about the UI toolkit for apps, or Unity itself, in which case are you asking about Unity 7 or Unity 8? Because it's going to be a different answer depending on which one of those you're talking about. So if you could give a little more clarity on that, we'll come back around to it.
All right, I'm going to pick one question that doesn't seem to be prefixed to the question, but I think might be worth answering. Cloverfigure is asking, I think as a follow-up to the question about Telegram project 2 being available, she's saying soon. That could mean in a few hours or in a few weeks. It's like, please. All right, so I think the best person to ask is Carney on IRC, as Mike was saying, that's Michal Karnicki. He's the main developer of Telegram, and he can tell you more. My hunch is that, well, it's not going to be in a few hours. It's more a matter of days. But as I say, I'd recommend to ping him to get like an authoritative answer.
All right, the next one is from Walloons. Is it like the evil version of balloons, I think? Like Wario and Mario? You can see Nick. Wait, Nick's got the goatee, so it'd be like evil Nick without a goatee. Unless ours is the evil one.
Well.
Anyway, Walloons is asking, why are there so many Russian scopes in the Ubuntu store? To support our Ubuntu phone users, would be my guess.
Yeah, I mean, you've probably been following how we're opening to other markets in Ubuntu. You've been following up what we've been doing in India. So without disclosing anything, you might be able to guess that we're trying to expand to other markets.
And this is one of the really neat value propositions that Ubuntu Phone has. Is you know, we've got these scopes that make up kind of the default user experience, and they're very content centric. But content is going to vary depending on who's using the phone and where they're using it. So we've been able to customize the user experience in each location that we've launched into. So when we launched in Europe with BQ and then with Maizu, we had all these scopes around European content and news sources and sports and stuff like that. And then when we launched in India, we had a whole nother set of scopes that were specific to the culture and the geographic area that those phones were launching in. And we're able to do the same thing again in Russia. And these are not forks of Ubuntu. They're not separate branches of development like you see with a lot of the Android phones. It's the same Ubuntu, it's just a different set of pre-selected scopes that are being installed in them. So that gives us the ability to really differentiate and target a specific audience without causing fragmentation in the Ubuntu ecosystem like Android has experienced. So I think that's really cool that we are able to do that.
All right, next question comes from Richwing. The community roundtable with Poppy, George Castro, etc. An action was asked about getting John Bacon on a Christmas Ubuntu on air or sometime this year. Could we make sure that there is action, as he keeps saying he wants to do one on Reddit? We missed the metal guitar song at the end.
Well, some of you missed the metal guitar. We joke about Jono quite a bit, but I certainly wouldn't mind having him back on, especially now that he's moving to GitHub and is going to have more of an open source focus than he had while he was at XPRIZE. I think that would be a good one to have on.
Yeah, and Jono is on our Ubuntu Community Team, IRC. So, and we get in touch with him often. So yeah, it's more than welcome. In terms of taking the action, I mean, anyone can take it or he can take it, but we'd be happy to pick it up. So,
yeah, Jono, if you're listening, give us a ping.
Exactly.
No guitar though.
And by the way, this is not only about Jono Bacon. We always try to get guests to our Q&As. So if you've got any other suggestions of guests that you think might be interesting to have on the Ubuntu Q&As, just let us know, and we're happy to get these suggestions and to make it happen.
Yeah, in the past we've had guests from other flavors also. Like we've had Ubuntu folks on. I think we've had Ubuntu Mate or Ubuntu Gnome, one of the flavor leads from there on. So we're open to any kind of guests that are interested in coming on and talking about Ubuntu or how their project relates to Ubuntu or Ubuntu users. All right, the next one is from Cheeseburg. He asks, what is the current state of the App Store? Can we, 1, buy apps, 2, donate to open source apps, 3, in-app purchases, and 4, subscriptions? So 1 is a yes. We've had that for a while. You can buy apps. 2 is a no. We don't have any way yet to donate to them. I suggest people who want to do a donation model use something like Patreon or Flatter for that instead of trying to do that through the Ubuntu store. 3, in-app purchases is in the works, but is not ready yet to use. And subscriptions, I don't know about. I think we had that at one point for the desktop store, but I don't know if that's been re-implemented for the new store or not.
I don't think it has. I mean, just to complement what Mike is saying, essentially it's all correct. But just to add some news in terms of in-app purchases and actually donations, we're about to start running a pilot with some community members for in-app purchases. The API is ready, the infrastructure is mostly ready, and we're planning to essentially announce this and put it in production soon. I think the plan for the pilot is to start in the upcoming days, and we're looking for community developers, just a handful essentially. We're not looking for big numbers. We're looking for some community developers who want to help us with testing this and giving us feedback on how it works. I say this is not yet production ready. We're on the testing stage. But also, this could make donations possible as an in-app purchase set up as a donation on an app. And in fact, this is how we're planning to run the in-app purchase test pilot, essentially enabling the testers to provide a donate button on their apps. So stay tuned. I'm not sure if we've got any sessions on this at UOS, but in any case, stay tuned on the Ubuntu Phone mailing list for announcements. All right. Nathan Keynes is asking, TBM, can you send your extra Bluetooth keyboard to Mike Hall so he doesn't have to?
Yes, he can, absolutely. No problem, right, David?
Thanks, Mike. Nice try. We'll get a Bluetooth one. I think one sent from Germany to the US might be an expensive one.
I'm not sure we get here in time anyway.
Yeah, we'll get one.
All right, Walloons is asking, will BQ launch the BQ Aquarius X5 with Ubuntu? I'm not familiar with the X5. They've launched the E5 already.
Yes, I can actually, quite honestly, I cannot answer the question on the X5. I'm not familiar with it.
Now, BQ is working on a convergence device that they're planning on shipping, I think sometime early next year. I don't know what model that is, though, so I can't say if it's the E5 or the X5 or something else. You'll have to stay tuned. I mean, it's their phones. They'll announce it when they're ready to announce it.
Exactly. Okay, Blue Dragon is asking a professional question. How does one become combined developer and community manager? I am an IT student and I did dabble a bit into communication classes. That's really, really interesting questions, and I guess it would be interesting to have everyone in the community team here to answer how it is or how it was from their experience. I mean, in my particular case, it was a combination of things. I've got a technical background. I'm an electronics engineer, and before working at Canonical, I was like doing technical jobs for quite a bit. But then I got interested in this community thing and started contributing to this cool new distro, new OS called Ubuntu. And funnily enough, my first technical contributions weren't even technical. They were translations. And more and more, I got more engaged. I got more into the whole idea of working together, collaborating to build a free OS. And you learn a lot from others. You learn about communication. You learn about, as I said, collaboration. That's quite important as well. And you learn about getting people excited about what you are excited as well. I'm not sure if that actually answers the question with a set of steps of how to become a community manager that's also a developer, but that's essentially how it was in my experience. How was it for you, Mike?
So I got started, I was doing web development. That's most of my professional career. I was a web developer. And I started a new job where I needed to learn Django. So I was starting to pick that up, and I heard that there was this Django site called the Loco directory that Daniel Holbach was working on. And they wanted some work to expand on that. So I thought, hey, that'd be a good time to practice my new Django skills and learn some stuff on a project that I can't be fired over. So I started contributing to that, and that's what became the Loco team portal, loco.ubuntu.com. So I started contributing to Ubuntu there and moved on from that to Summit. So if you're watching this on summit.ubuntu.com, I'm sorry, but part of it is my fault now. But you should have seen it when Chris Johnston and I started on it way back when it was far worse than it is now. So I was working on these two projects and just kind of generally keeping an eye on job openings at Canonical, because the more I got interested in Ubuntu and working with it, the more I wanted to work on it full time instead of just it being a hobby thing. So there's some web developer positions open I applied to, and all of the community work that I'd already been doing really helped with that, because not only could I show all of this code working on Ubuntu projects and Ubuntu infrastructure, but I also knew several of the people on these teams from having worked with them on these projects. So that got me into Canonical doing web development. But I still stayed involved in community aspects of things. I got to know Jono and the team a little bit better over the year I was doing web development. And then opening came up for somebody to join the team. So I went to Jono and talked to him about it. And long story short, ended up getting it. And now here I am.
Cool.
So
if you guys
I would say get involved in contributing to a community-oriented project would probably be the best way. The best way to become a good community manager, I think, is to be a good community member and get that experience so that you know what everybody else is going through when you're trying to help them. All right, and I think we skipped some questions back a little bit.
Oh, let's see.
Let's see. Walloons asked, is it possible to run Firefox desktop on Ubuntu phones? So it is possible to run desktop Firefox on an Ubuntu phone. It is not currently possible to use Firefox on an Ubuntu phone, but it's getting there. We have a session later in the week that's going to be talking about how we're going to try and support these legacy desktop apps in the new phone environment and the new snappy Ubuntu personal environment. So if you're interested in that, go find that session and you'll find out a whole lot more there. Hey, Nathan.
All right. Hi,
Hello,
Nathan.
everyone.
Hey. All right. So, by the way, if anyone wants to join the call, wants to answer some questions, just feel free. You can tell us on IRC, and we can give you the link to join. So Nathan just pinged us, and he's one of the organizers of the Ubuntu Summit in Pasadena next January. Also a member of the local council. And if you've got any particular questions on those topics, or actually any question, I'm sure that that Nathan will be happy to answer them.
It's my specialty.
All right.
All right. Going back through, Cheeseburg had asked, what happened to the design videos for both apps and Unity 8? Do either of you know which design videos he's talking about?
No, I don't exactly know. So Cheeseburg, if you could tell us exactly which ones, or perhaps give us a link to one of them, we might be able to answer better.
Chloe Wolfie Girl asks, what app do you miss the most, or which was available for Ubuntu phone the most? So I'll say, even though I don't use it, I wish WhatsApp was available just because that's the one the most people ask for. I myself personally, the one I miss the most is a good turn-by-turn navigation app. We have one, it's called UNav, and I've heard that it works really well on BQ and Meizu phones, but I have had terrible luck with anything GPS related on my Nexus 4.
Right. Yeah, I probably would say the same as Mike. I would have put the turn-by-turn navigation up first because it's something that I use all of the time. I mean, other than that, I mean, my my most used app is already there by having Telegram on the phone. But yeah, of course, and they quite on. I mean, I have I have some I have many friends, I have family who use WhatsApp, and yeah, having WhatsApp in there, even though I prefer Telegram, would be something very useful to have on the phone.
I'd have to say that probably the app that I most miss is Ingress, probably, that I would miss on the phone. On my Nexus 5, UNav actually works very well, and actually I am the default English voice for the voice prompts for navigation on UNav. So,
yeah,
Michael,
I really wish I could have Nathan telling me where to go whenever I travel.
That is my specialty, is telling people where to go. I'm really good at it, so now I can do it sort of semi-professionally. Well, what I can tell you, Michael, is that when you get when the Ubuntu phone comes out to the U.S. and you get one, and then you can use UNav, then you will have arrived at your destination.
All right. All right. The next question is from Walloons again. He asks, "What happened to Ubuntu Next Image?" So that was stopped for a little while during the last cycle, but if you go back and you watch the Unity 8 Convergence demo session that happened just before the lunch break, Michael Terry, I believe, said that those would be coming back now based on Xenial.
Well, that's new. Cool.
And with that, I think we're caught back up to through all the ones that we missed.
Yeah, I think so as well. So there's another question by Blue Dragon. Do you have any information? Will the AMD driver bug be fixed soon in 15.10? I'm not sure. Actually, Nathan answered on IRC. That got fixed last week. Install FGLRX updates.
Yeah, they were really anxious about that in the Ubuntu subreddit. So I had the answer there. I was anxious about it on my computer, so worked out.
All right. Well, Loons asks, any news on Minecraft on Ubuntu phones? So they've actually posted a couple of things on their site and on Google Plus, hinting at some of the things that they've gotten working so far. And they do have a session on Thursday, Mar says, where I'm hoping they've got some really cool things that they can demo and show off and talk about there.
All right.
Oh, here's a fun one. Sergi didn't prefix it with. He did prefix it again with questions. So he asked, "When will we have LibreOffice in Ubuntu Touch?" So currently, I'm not sure if this is in the store or not. Alan Pope can confirm or not. But the document viewer app that we have for Ubuntu Touch now has the ability to display any file that LibreOffice can display. So that's both open document files as well as Microsoft Office files that it knows how to read. So that's for displaying. For for running the actual LibreOffice suite and being able to edit documents, again, that's going to fall under how are we going to support these legacy desktop apps in the new environment. I wouldn't expect that that's going to be real nice on a small phone screen, but if you plug a phone into a big screen or you've got a big tablet, those still might be useful. So go find that session and attend that, and Stephen Webb, who's going to be running it, will be able to tell you a lot more about that.
And then
yeah,
go on, Nathan.
I was just going to say the document viewer hasn't been updated yet. The last update was July 31st, so it's right there.
Yeah, we're currently working on the click package for just to add some bit of information about the document viewer. As Mike was saying, we're working on LibreOffice support as a plugin for or rather as a feature for the document viewer, and we've had good results with displaying different types of documents. But right now it is as a testing stage. This is about essentially getting LibreOffice Kit, which is part of LibreOffice or the LibreOffice package, put into the click package for the document viewer and adding the support to use LibreOffice. Right now, we do have the ability to display the documents, but as I say, it's not stable enough to be uploaded to the store. What we're working on right now is on a click package to be sent to a handful of testers. We'll probably announce this on the Ubuntu Home mailing list, and then take it from there. I need to check the schedule, but I think we have a document viewer planning session as well. So if you're interested and if you find it in the schedule, make sure that you attend that one as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited for LibreOffice. I think this is going to be a really, really fantastic way to use LibreOffice on the go. I think this is going to be the pessimal way to use LibreOffice on the go, so I'm not so excited about phone use, although it'd be nice to have it if you need it, because it would 100% be an emergency if you were actually using LibreOffice, I think, on your 4-inch screen.
Yeah, I think I've used Google Docs on my phone in the browser, and while it's possible to use it, it's really not a nice experience.
Now imagine there's no mobile interface.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think one nice thing is in any case to be able to see the documents. I mean, I think we don't have to underestimate how many times we need to read the document without having to edit. So I think the LibreOffice read-only support will be quite a lot of improvement already, and it looks pretty nice actually on the phone.
All right, Chloe is asking us, how about Satya Nadella for a guest on Ubuntu Q&A? That would be an interesting one. So which one of you is good friends with Satya?
Let me check on my Telegram group.
Nobody catching up with him for coffee anytime soon?
He has my email address.
Yeah. So Satya, if you're watching, we would love to have you on a Q&A. It would be interesting, that's for sure.
I would get up early and watch that.
All right. Okay, I think we got a bit carried away. I think that's because of our excitement with the LibreOffice question. We've got quite a lot of other questions coming up. So let me just pick up the next one. Cheesework is asking, is there an ISO for testing Unity 8/Snappy Personal on desktop? Will there be one soon for broader testing? As far as I know,
as I mentioned earlier, I think that's coming back. I think that's what Michael Terry said in the previous session.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say I don't think there is one, but yeah, as you mentioned earlier, there might be one. In the meantime, one thing that you can do, while it not yet being Snappy Personal, you can test the conversion story on an Nexus 4. This will give you like a feel for it, at least.
Right. Chloe's asking, is Canonical heavily branching out to try and get support from other software vendors? I'm sure a few people at Canonical are trying to talk to people like the guys at WhatsApp, but is there a lot of effort there, and how are the folks going? I know there is some effort there. That's a different team working on that, though, so we don't really have a whole lot of insight as to how that's going. I have heard, though, that it's become kind of standard industry practice for new platforms to pay for apps to be ported. And that's not really something that we want to get into doing. So Microsoft, for example, did this with a lot of apps when they came out with their new Windows Phone. They paid a bunch of these companies to port their apps specifically to that platform. And we just don't have the bank account that Microsoft does to try and do something like that.
Yeah, we can kickstart a $250,000 Kickstarter for WhatsApp, right?
We'll go for 32 million.
There you go.
So
That's a nice
we're approaching them by making sure that we have the best tools and a well-documented platform to make it as easy as possible for them to port. Because the cheaper it is for them to do, the more likely it is that some of them are going to do it without being paid.
And it is the SDK tools make it really difficult to make an ugly-looking app. It's really easy to write something that looks nice and that really fits into the Ubuntu mobile ecosystem. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and we've shown with things like Telegram that when we work together with these other companies, that we can produce really nice apps together.
Yeah, my only IM client I use right now is pretty much Telegram because it's spectacular and it works everywhere. Ubuntu, Android, desktop, Windows, on the phone. It's great, so it's pretty good. Dragos asks, how can I be an Ubuntu developer? Just want to feel special. And the good news is that it's really easy. All you have to do is find your favorite app that you enjoy using and start reporting bugs, get on Launchpad, and if you program at all, you can, if you can fix the bugs, that's even better. And all you have to do to become a developer or become an Ubuntu advocate or really do anything you want to do in Ubuntu is just go ahead and start doing those things. And as you participate more and get to know people, you're in. We're one big friendly family in Ubuntu.
One thing a lot of people who are new to open source don't realize is that you don't need to get somebody's approval before you start contributing. You don't need to have somebody tell you what to work on before you can get started. It's very much what we call a duocracy. You come in, you do what you can do, and that's all that's required. So you don't need to get anybody's blessings or anything. Just look around the project, see what you can find that interests you, that fits your skill sets. Amar posted a link in IRC to find a task on community.ubuntu.com. That'll help you walk through some couple of questions that will point you in the right direction for something that would work for you. And then once you find something, just start trying to do it. Find people who can help you, ask them questions. It's a very friendly community, and we're always supporting new people who want to get started contributing.
Okay, so next one comes from Rich Wing. There's an action on Etherpad that needs completing. I need to check Etherpad. I don't have it open right now for this section.
Yeah, the only action items I see there are porting LibreOffice and giving Mark a hug. One of those two is already in progress. So I think we can leave it at that.
All right. Cheeseburg is saying there used to be design Q&As. I can find them now, but I did find this. That goes back to the previous question about design videos. I think what you're referring to are the design clinics in which we used to get members of the design team to look at applications and to give advice on how to better design the UX and the visual aspects of it. They were quite successful, actually. We stopped doing them at some point because we didn't get more submissions, but it might be a good thing to revive. So yeah. So essentially, if you've got something for the design team to review and you'd like to request for this to go back, let us know, and then we can talk about it.
Now, we do have a few design-related sessions going on this week. I know there's a design roundtable, which is going to be talking about, I think, the designs that went into some of the core apps. There's going to be a talk about the actual implementation of some of the convergence designs that have gone into things like the browser app and I think the address book. And then we've got somebody from the design team actually going to be walking through the process that they go through designing for convergence. And that'll be something good for third-party app developers who want to learn how to start thinking about that for their own apps. So there are 3 really good design-related sessions going on this week.
That'd be a good start, I think. So Ridgewing asks if we can use Firefox extensions on the Ubuntu browser, or is this scheduled? I'm going to jump in and say probably no, because the browser is Chromium-based, isn't it? And then I'll let people who know what they're talking about chime in.
It is Chromium-based, but that's all, I think, on a the extensions would be implemented on a higher level than that. As far as I know, there aren't any plans right now to add extensions support to the browser. We're just keeping it simple until we can get the basics nailed down and have a nice solid browser experience there.
Yeah, it's starting to shape up too. I don't hate myself when I'm using it anymore, so there's that.
Yeah, there's a few things that every once in a while will pop up and bug you, but I've been using it as my primary browser for like 3 weeks now, which is much longer than I thought I was. I was going to give it like 1 day to see if I can make it through 1 day with it, and I've just stuck with it because it really has not been very bad at all. It doesn't use up RAM like Chrome does, so yeah, I've just kind of stuck with it. All right, so Dragos is asking us. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, on the tablet, it's really nice on the desktop. It's not quite there, but really close. So it's pretty nice.
Dragos is asking us, will there be Ubuntu Phone for the S4 Active? I'm assuming that's the Samsung Galaxy S4 Active. In which case, I don't know of any active port going on for it.
All right. Next question from Chloe Wolfigal. How's Micro for the Ubuntu Phone going? Any of you tried it? I myself haven't tried it yet. I've been following the updates, but I know that Mike has been more involved with the Microsoft guys, and perhaps is it something else to add?
No, I've been involved with talking to them. I haven't actually tried it yet. I don't know if they've got a click package they can share yet or not.
Yeah, one thing to remember though is that you would need Microsoft, or you need to get a preview device to test it.
Yeah, and it's going to have to be at least an unconfined app, which means they're not going to be able to submit it to the store without getting a special exception to it. So it's probably going to be something that's either going to have to come pre-installed in an OEM image or side-loaded, at least for the near term.
They have, I think a show and tell session coming up on Thursday, so I'm really looking forward to watching that and seeing what they're up to.
Me too. Ryan Sipes, the CTO, which is the person there I've talked to, said that he was hoping to have some really cool demos to show off.
Yeah, and that's on Thursday at 1500 hours UTC, so can't wait.
All right. Dragos says, can someone guess my age? I'm 10. If I had to guess, I would say you're probably 10. Kind of odd to answer the question right along with it.
All right.
Which means you're only. Which means you still have a few years left to join Canonical and be the youngest person that we've had, because I think the youngest we've had has been like 16 when they were contracting with Canonical.
Oh, I remember them. Yeah. Well, he's a year younger than Ubuntu as well, so there's that.
All right.
I gotta tell you, when I think about what kids are doing at 16 or 10 in Dragos' case, and I remember what I was doing at that age, these guys just blow my mind how much they know and understand and how willing they are to tinker with stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I'm a little concerned that Portal 2 seems a lot less complicated to my friend's 9-year-old than it did to me 3 years ago. So I'm not happy about that. He solves things 3 times faster. So not, and he doesn't play video games, so not fun. Next question I see is Arch Linux driver more updated than that one in 15.10? I think he's talking about the TFX driver. Yeah, I don't know. I don't follow Arch.
Yeah, I mean, Arch is rolling, so it might be. But then again, we put out updates to the graphics stack, so they may be the same now. I don't know. You have to check.
All right. I think we need to crack to the questions. We've got about 4 minutes left. Clovigal is asking, will there be a good way to separate to look at apps only optimal for desktop use? I'm guessing you mean in the store. And to be honest, I haven't been following this lately, but I know there was some talk about letting apps list capabilities and these to determine the way they are findable on the store. But as I say, you probably have to ask the software store developers, Martin Olvisetti, or some of his guys for this.
Yeah, I'd also recommend, like I said, going to the legacy app support session later this week, because it sounds like that's going to be a problem they're going to need to solve also.
And I'll bet the UApp Explorer web app will probably solve it immediately, and then there'll be good, solid app stores to support later.
Right,
any update of the HUD? She's asking.
Yeah, so I was asking that at the Unity 8 Convergence demo. I asked Michael Zanetti that, and he hasn't heard any updates about it. He was going to find out which designers to ask about that. The last time I talked to a designer about it, they said that it was still planned, and they're working on some different designs for it, for how it'll work when it comes back. So I'm sorry, that's the best update I've got, and I think it's the same update I gave you last time you asked this question.
I vote for hologram. Next question is, my screen scroll, I can't find it. Next question, have there been any plans for bringing a background image under the scopes and other customability options, such as changing the way the keyboard looks and so on?
So the background on the scopes, if it were made to change, there would have to be some works on the UI, because right now it works with a light background, but if you put a dark background in there, all of the text and controls and stuff on the widgets would become very hard to use. So there would be a lot of work that goes into making that happen. And I don't think there are any design plans to do that yet.
Yeah, and you might want to ask the designers in any case at the UI sessions for that more detail.
See, next question from IRC. Cheeseburg asks, how is the situation with the overall Ubuntu community? With several Ubuntu developers leaving, the narrative from the news sites is that Ubuntu's community is shrinking. So what do you guys think?
I would take things that you get from news sites with a grain of salt, and they're going to get one specific view of it. If you really want to know what's going on in the community, go be part of that community and talk to the people who are involved. The Ubuntu Council just got several new members. The Ubuntu project is still healthy and active. So I don't think there's going to be any long-term problems out of this.
Yeah, and you have to think as well that with convergence, with the phone, there are new communities that start to grow around Ubuntu. So it's not just about one part of the community getting less contributors and the community shrinking overall. We've got quite a lot of innovation, quite a lot going on with new projects around Ubuntu, and I think we're doing well.
And if your interest is Ubuntu specifically, there's 3 or 4 sessions that they're running this week also. They've got a planning session for 1604. The Ubuntu podcast is going to be co-hosted with UOS on Wednesday, I think. And then there's also going to be a demo of the Plasma mobile work, which is their phone UI based on the KDE libraries and Plasma desktop shell.
Yeah, it looks like there's some really strong plans. So if you're interested in that, definitely check out those sessions. It should be pretty interesting. But it's still going very strong. So we're very, very proud for the work that they do. Do we have time for one more question?
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
So Ridgewing asks, no, I'm sorry, Amar Singh asks, are there any design mock-ups of what a finished Unity 8 might look like? Some of the concepts that people have made have attracted quite a bit of attention.
No, I mean, Unity 8, the goal right now is to make it work as close to Unity 7 as we can with the new style and UI widgets that have been designed for Unity 8. So there's not going to be a drastic departure from what's there in both Unity 8 and Unity 7 right now.
I hope they fix the scopes window so that people keep posting to Reddit asking why they haven't fixed the scopes window.
Yeah, so that's something that came up
up
in the Convergence demo session too. So you can go back and watch that. Michael Zanetti talked about it a little bit.
Oh, good. That's what I'll do after these all the sessions for today.
I think we're actually done with questions, right? At least anyone that I can see with question prefix.
The one we missed was from Dragos. He asked if there was a PS3 emulator for Ubuntu, and I don't know about that.
I have no idea. I'd recommend to try Steam.
I think there's a PS2 emulator, but I don't know about PS3.
Right. I think with this we can wrap it up. I'm just being told that my audio is not very good right now, so I'll see if I can fix that for the next session. In any case, thanks everyone for the questions. Thanks everyone for joining in. Have a nice rest of US. Also, thank you, Mike, and especially thank you, Nathan, for joining us spontaneously on the Q&A. It has been fun, and we'll see you guys on the other sessions.
Yep. Thank you, everybody.
Yep. See you there. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.